Assistive Technology Australia celebrates International Day for People with Disabilities. First, we would like to acknowledge the first people of this country. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Assistive Technology Australia acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. International Day for People with a Disability is an opportunity for all of us to start a conversation about disability and how we can promote accessibility and inclusion within our communities. As we celebrate the achievements of those with a disability, we take this opportunity to get to know our two AT mentors, Peter Simpson and Caytlin Weir, and find out how their lived experience of disability has shaped their roles. Hi, Peter. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi. I was born with a non-degenerative neuromuscular disability from birth. All through growing up, I basically participated in a lot of disability-related sports, from sort of swimming. My parents threw me into swimming at a young age. Things like athletics growing up and sort of finally wheelchair rugby as in my adult years, participating in wheelchair rugby. Also, the last 20 years or so, I've been doing a lot of advocacy work, both systemic and individualised, for people with disability, and working for various disability organisations, as well as being on the board of many peak organisations as well. And also sitting on a few disability access committees and things like that. So I'm very interested in advocating for people with disabilities.
Thanks, Peter. So what types of assistive technologies are important to you and why?
Being a very independent person, I basically use some type of assistive technologies in all parts of my life, whether it be my modified motor vehicle, which is basically my legs, and it allows me to get wherever I need to be, and it really is my independence. Because I live in an area where public transport options aren't readily available to me. I very much rely on my car, so it's so my modified motor vehicle is definitely probably the most important thing to me. Also, I use assistive technology within my home as well, whether that be things like whether that be something like my shower chair, which obviously helps me in and out of the shower. Also on my wheelchair, I use a power assist device, which allows me to propel my wheelchair long distances. As I'm getting older, I'm finding that the wear and tear in my shoulders and I'm not as physical and as functional as I used to be. So the power assist on my wheelchair assists me to sort of get from A to B. And then also I have dressing aids. I use dressing aids at home to sort of help me get dressed. Things like I have a button adapter which allows me to sort of do the buttons up on my shirts. Things like that. So I use quite a lot of assistive technology myself at home, yes.
That's great. So what's your favorite aspect about being an AT mentor?
I think for me, definitely growing up, an AT mentor is somebody that I wish was around when I was growing up. Somebody that I see as a peer that I can talk to and about assistive technology options. One thing that I learned a lot growing up is I learned a lot from other people about about what works for them, and then applied it to myself and thought, you know, would this work for me? Rather than having, you know, allied health professionals are good and OTs are really good for talking about different assistive technology options with you and looking at the functional side of what works for you. But from a practical standpoint, I'd like to know from somebody else that has a similar issues that I do, and that can give me that practical advice around assistive technology and what works and what doesn't. So, in saying that, I would like I'd like to be able to offload that experience, that lived experience, and that advice to other people about, you know, practical options they have for their assistive technology options and how things like that can benefit their independence. So I'd like to give a lot of that back.
Certainly. So why are AT mentors important, and how do you see this role evolving in the future?
I think the role as an AT mentor is quite important at the moment, and I can see it, especially now with the NDIS coming in, people having individualised plans, and also people self-managing their own plans. I think that it's the role of an AT mentor will actually sit alongside that of an OT or an allied health professional, and whereas the allied health professional needs to actually script people's devices and things like that, I think for things like low-level assistive technology, where you don't necessarily need assessments and that for, I think you could get the advice of an AT mentor and then work out what assistive technology you need and purchase that item. So I see, and giving that one-on-one, and give on that one-on-one peer sort of led information. People like to hear a lot from their peers rather than about what works for them, rather than necessarily talk to our health professional. So I think the two will go hand in hand in the future.
Thank you, Pete. Okay, now let's say hello to Kate. Hi, Kate. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hello, I am Caytlin Weir. I have a pretty high level of cerebral palsy, and therefore I need support to do a lot of things throughout the day. I live independently with my dog Willow in my own house. I moved in about a year ago. It is going awesome. I love it. I am a social worker. I've just finished my degree at Newcastle University. I am working 2 jobs. One at Assistive Technology Australia and the other at CDAH, which is a user-led organisation in Newcastle. I feel both the jobs. I am making sure that other people with disability make the most of life, whether it be through the use of assistive technology or through the NDIS package or life in general. This is important. My other work love is AAC. I AAC mentor a lot of people just starting to use their communication device. Also, I do a lot of AAC advocacy on my own will, where I am determined when you need to be an advocate. Most important.
Thanks, Kate. So what types of assistive technologies are important to you and why?
Assistive technology is most important. I have my communication device, which is most important to me. Like another body part to me, I have my wheelchair, assistive technology to use my phone by a switch, standing hoist, shower chair, and when I moved into my house, I got home automation, and this allows me to open my front door, control my blinds, lights, aircon light through my TV, and with computer through my communication device. The biggest challenge of using assistive technology is when it breaks, because I rely on it so much. Without it, I am stuffed, and a lot of the time you don't have backup, so you are without it. Sometimes it has to be sent away to get fixed, therefore I have to do a lot of planning for what I would do if my assistive technology breaks. That is overwhelming. However, by sharing my experiences with people I mentor, I hope they get into the same thinking so they can make their own plans.
Thanks, Kate. So what's your favorite thing about being an AT mentor?
Choice was choice. We provide choice. So many times I've received assistive technology from a therapist which is no good. It doesn't meet my needs. It isn't going to work, I don't like it. As determined as I am, I don't use it. It sits on couch. And because it has been funded instead of the assistive technology that I need most important, I don't want to put anybody else through this. No way. We always give people choice. Not all assistive technology is for everyone. And a lot of the time the person with disability doesn't know what's new on the market. We offer them to see all of the assistive technology that they want to see so they can make an informed decision.
Thanks, Kate. So why are AT mentors important and how do you see this role evolving in the future?
This question is also around choice. It is most important because you are choosing the assistive technology you want. Yes, the occupational therapist can organise and be present at the trial and everything like that. However, you aren't going to go on a wild goose chase looking at assistive technology. You know it's not going to work for you. This saves therapy hours also. I feel your therapy hours could be put to better use if you can look for assistive technology by yourself. We do understand that not everyone can, but you can. It is going to be a better outcome for you or your loved one. I feel this is self-determination and puts the person with disability in control of what they are purchasing.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Peter and Kate. To explore the AT possibilities that meet your needs, Peter, Caitlin, and our team of allied health professionals can be contacted at Assistive Technology Australia via the following: